Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We're so happy to have you here at USA Global TV and Radio. We are the place to go when you are interested in global world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and I am your host today for our show, It's Your Healthy Lifestyle, starring Roland Friedl. We're going to be hearing all about how he has been pushing his own limits yet again with his video diary of water fasting. When I say video diary, I mean he's actually going to be here today telling us how his journey's been going with the water fasting. So without further ado, let's welcome this exceptional person who spends a great deal of his time helping other people, especially with his men's work. He is a serial entrepreneur and montrepreneur. He's an author, he's a coach, he's a mentor, and he's my friend. Let's welcome him. Hello, hello.
Hello, Dr. JACALYN. Hello to the audience. Hello. Great to be back. By the way, you look amazing. I love your hair. It's like the rocking 70s. I love it.
Thank you. As I mentioned it, I just washed it this morning and it took like an hour to dry it. So yes. And by the way, you have incredible energy. You've been doing this water fasting. I feel like you have more energy than I have today. So let's start the journey a little bit about, for people who don't know what fasting is, let's have you share a little bit about that, and then we'll just walk through it step by step.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but what is fasting? Fasting means that you don't eat any food except liquids. You're taking liquids to that's fasting. And there are actually different forms of fasting. You know, most people know it maybe from a spiritual perspective. In the Christian culture, for example, you fast before the Easter time, I guess 40 days or something like that. Some people fast on Fridays. Some people do, like myself, water fast. Some people do intermittent fasting, meaning having mostly 16 hours of break after the last meal, before the next meal or the next day. So the different from fasting. Fasting means you don't eat. You just drink water, tea, liquids, juices maybe, or bone broth or whatever. This is fasting. Fasting is staying away from food. And yeah, that's fasting.
Thank you, Roland. And so I'd really like to have you share with our audience. You mentioned there's different types of fasting. You're someone who's already in great shape, right? You take care of yourself. You have a very healthy lifestyle. So you're pushing your own limits. Can you share a little bit about why you've decided to go on this journey when you're already in great shape?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, I'm in great shape and I'm unhealthy. But I still love fasting. I do intermittent fasting on a daily basis, meaning 16 to 8, sometimes 18 to 6, meaning that I eat between a time window of 8 or 6 hours, mostly 2 meals a day, which really does well to me. So I don't take breakfast. I'm not a breakfast guy. This is what I do on a normal basis. And once in a while I go on a fasting. I did it last winter when I was in Sicily, and I decided to do it again here. The reason why I do it, actually, it's not weight loss or something like that, but this is can be a result. Of course, I'm going to lose weight, but this is not my primary goal. This time, my primary goal, to be honest, was sharpen my discipline and willpower. This was my first thing. And the second thing was cleansing, detoxing. This was my my two main goals, why I started this. And Yeah. Well, my desired outcome was actually I'm working on two amazing projects. Is having more time for my projects, being more focused, and spending less time on food, meaning organizing food, preparing food, eating food, washing dishes. So there's much more time left. And yeah, for me, it's good. It's good. But to be honest, what I'm talking today is just, first of all, my private advice. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a medical advisor. I'm not a medical doctor. Especially what I do on a very strict liquid fasting is I don't recommend it to everyone. So please, if you go for 14 days or like 20, myself, 28 days or even longer, 40 days, please, before you start, ask your doctor, yeah, your medical doctor first. So don't start it from scratch. Yeah, it can be dangerous, especially when you have suffering from diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease. I wouldn't recommend it without any medical advice or medical support.
Excellent point. And I was going to give a disclaimer like that as well, because there can be counterindications with your blood sugar, right? And so you really need to check with a medical professional. So have you set any types of barriers or limits for yourself in terms of, if this happens, I'm going to stop, or if I start to feel like this? Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that as well?
Absolutely. I became 60 a few days ago. So I'm not the youngest guy. And I said to myself, I do it. I said, I actually announced it for 28 days. But honestly, I don't have to prove anybody anything. So if I don't feel good, I will quit. I will step out immediately. Or maybe I look for a different form of fasting. What I'm thinking. So I said to me, I don't push myself to the limit. So when there is a chance that it's going to be unhealthy or even dangerous for myself, I will reduce. I will say I reduce the intensity of the fasting. Meaning maybe I bring more bone broth in or stuff like that, more electrolytes. So doing less rigid. How to call it, rigid? Yeah. So I don't want to hurt myself or bring my health in danger. I don't do this because I don't have to prove anyone. So that's not my main goal. But more or less I feel good, to be honest. And I always say to somebody, if you fast and you don't feel good, there are signs like I had it. I started last week Tuesday, so today it's actually day number 8. And on Thursday and Friday, my pulse went up. I normally have a very low pulse because I'm well trained, so I don't have any issues with my heart and stuff like that. My blood pressure, my pulse went high. And I was a little bit worried about what's going to happen. Maybe I didn't drink enough. Actually, I drink two. I don't know how to make it, but it's 4 liters. I drink 4 liters of tea, water, liquids every day. So I drink a lot of. I said maybe it's not enough because my pulse was going up. I said, oh, what shall I do? But then I found out I was just worrying about a friend of mine, one of my best friends. We've been knowing each other for 40 years. And he had some heart problems last week. He told me, and maybe I don't know. I was worrying about him and I was a little bit scared about myself as well. So my pulse went up and I was thinking, okay, if it's going up and my pulse is not going down the next day, then I have to stop it. But luckily it went down again. So to answer your questions, I don't push. I push myself to limits, yes, but I'm very aware about my health, about my fitness status. So if something is going wrong, I will immediately stop for sure, yes.
Excellent. That's good news. Good news. Because sometimes we make commitments to do something and it's not working out the way we feel it should, but we keep going anyway because we committed to doing it. So red flags come up and you're aware of that and you're on board with that. So in terms of your daily routine, what have you changed, if anything at all? I know today you said you backed off a little bit from some work. What has changed in terms of your workouts, walking your dog, anything that you're doing on a daily?
Well, I still get up early in the morning. I still have my morning routine, like, I do my prayers, being gratitude. I take my supplements in the morning with water, a lot of water. That's what I always do. I walk my dog. Normally, I walk my dog in the morning and in the afternoon or evening. So this didn't change at all. My workout, I still do workout, but not so hard. I do less weight and more repetitions. So I'd only do 1 set, but instead of 3 sets of 12 reps, I do 1 set, sometimes 2 sets of 30 reps, but with less weight. That's what I'm doing with the kettlebells. Less tension when I work on with my own body weight, so I don't work out that hard because I don't have the protein intake. That's what changed a little bit. Well, I have no lunch and I have no early dinner. That's what changed. So I don't have to prepare food. I don't have to wash dishes. I only prepare the food for my dog. That's the only thing. So it's changed a little bit. I have more time to work. That's what I found out. Except today, I made a day off during the day because I didn't feel it. I didn't feel the energy, and I said, okay, I don't want to push it. I know from my own experience, when I need a break, I go for a break, and then maybe the more I go back to my work, and I know that it's going to work out. So I don't push myself too fast or let's say too hard. Yeah, because I do this fasting to do good to myself, so detox myself and to stay in a good shape, in a healthy way. So it doesn't make sense to myself to threaten my health. So I stay away from this. So to answer your question, my daily routine is quite the same, except not eating. And the workout is a little more easygoing, as I said, less weight, but more reps.
It's incredible how you've been able to accomplish so much without having food. And what are your thoughts of when it's appropriate? There are many people who eat 5 or 6 or 8 meals a day. I just saw on Instagram, there is a gentleman who interviews people who are ripped and who are in shape, and he gives them $100 to do pull-ups and various things. And he interviewed this one guy, and this guy said he eats 6,000 calories a day. So you're still exercising, but you were putting literally hardly anything into your body. So how is there such a dichotomy between 6,000 calories a day and, almost nothing?
Well, first of all, I guess the guy with 6,000 calorie intake is really pushing himself very hard at the workout. I don't do this. So I do, as I said, I do my work a little bit, 30 minutes, but not harder. I couldn't do the same workout like normally I do in the gym when I eat normally. It's impossible on almost zero calories. It's not working. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, as I said, you can work out on a fast, but slowly. Yeah, much less weight. Yeah, really, I guess the weight I'm lifting the kettlebells is half of the weight I normally lift. Really half, just half. Yeah, easy going. I just want to be I just want to do something. I want to do some reps and do something, but it's not about building up muscle. Doesn't make sense because I have absolutely no protein intake. This doesn't make sense. Absolutely, I guess you destroy more on your muscle base on your protein. This doesn't make sense. But of course, you're still surviving. You can still work. You can still work out. But actually, after one day, I guess it's 24 to 28 hours, depending. Your glucose is gone, is absolutely spent, and then your body slowly gets into the ketosis and is using the body fat as an energy source. That's one point. And then you bring it to, and what I know is for guys who have a very low body fat component, then your body is going on your protein and then your muscle mass. So you when you're fasting a long time, of course you're losing muscle mass for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I know the same. I will lose weight. The first days I don't have a scale with me, so I don't know the weight exactly, but I can feel it. And what I do is I measure my belly. So I'm losing weight, and I know that in the first days when the glucose is done, of course what I lost is water in the beginning because the glucose is restoring a lot of water. So I get rid of water, and I don't get rid of muscles after a week, but I guess in week 2, 3, I will feel it. Yeah. I have to rebuild it afterwards.
So when you think about what you just shared, right, in terms of you're lifting half the amount of weight that you used to, probably in week 2 or 3, your muscles are going to start to atrophy. What is the premise that keeps you going? Because you're, as I mentioned in the beginning, and you address this, but you're already healthy, you're already in good shape. So what is your expectation at the end where you will say to yourself, okay, this is a success? Is it just because you made it through to the end, or are you looking for, you'll be able to measure your ability to focus, or what are the outcomes that you're looking for?
Yeah, as I mentioned in the beginning, first of all, of course, it's about sharpening and practicing again my willpower and my discipline. Yeah, that's my number one goal, to be honest. But as I said, I don't push myself to an unhealthy limit. Yeah, but it's about my willpower to sharpen that. That's important for me. And the second is this detoxing, the cleansing, what I did last Saturday. So last Saturday, on the Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, on day 4, I did my cleansing and my yeah. And this is always a breakthrough when you do fasting and do the cleansing, whatever form of cleansing you're using. It's very helpful. That's my number one. Even when I eat healthy, but I know that I also get polluted by the air by using cosmetics, whatever. So I eat very clean, but meaning I eat non-processed food, but sometimes I have to go to a restaurant or I have an invite, and I know it's not always perfect. I also had my cheat days. I always say 80% of my food is clean, but 20% is, I don't know, ice cream, a cake, a glass of wine, a gin tonic or whatever. And I want to get rid of this toxic stuff in my body. That's my primary goal: getting rid of this toxic stuffs in my body. There's toxic stuff, even when you try to eat very, very clean. And as I always said, I try to stay healthy and fit, but not in an ascetic way. So I love good food, but I prepared for myself. As I said, I have my cheat days, of course, and I enjoy an ice cream, a cake, or whatever, and or fried stuff, what is not really healthy. And so I want to get rid of all this. Yeah. And also, I'm a coffee drinker, to be honest. I drink 2-3 good coffees a day. And we all know that coffee is also producing a lot of acid. So I want to get rid of that. That's just cleans my body and clean my tempo to be, as long as possible, capable for performance and for enjoying life. That's the reason why I do it.
Thank you, Roland. And once you've reached the end, will you go back to drinking coffee and having your cake once in a while and a gin and tonic once in a while, or will you be okay? So it's just for a period of time.
Yeah, it's a period of time. And another reason was, I spent a lot of time with my auntie the last weeks because I supported her in her house. I prepared the firewood for the coming winter, and I did a lot of repair in the house. And Austrian cuisine is very heavy. It's a lot of carbs, and I ate more carbs than I normally do, and I want to get rid of these carbs because normally I do a carnivore or a keto diet. So I want to get rid of these carbs in my body, and I will get to my normal diet afterwards, to my keto. So I always do a few weeks keto, a few weeks carnivore, and sometimes in between I enjoy some carbs, as I said, ice cream or a croissant or something like that. So I want to get rid of that. That's why I'm doing it. And of course I go back. Yeah, of course. I'm looking forward to that. But at the moment I don't think about food at all. It's funny, Dr. JACALYN. Actually, the first day is always the worst for me. The official starting day was for me Wednesday because it was full moon, but I already started Tuesday. So on Monday, for lunch, a friend of mine invited me for a birthday lunch. So I had a huge steak and a glass of wine. I drink one, but I took a glass of wine with my friend for lunch. And then on Tuesday, I already started with tea and water, so a day earlier. And for me, the worst day is always the first day. I really felt hungry the first day because you get used to the food. Yeah. The first day was really bad. I'm hungry. On the second day and third day, I had a little bit headache, and I'm suffering from a ringing in the ear since many years after an accident. So my ringing in the ear, I recognize is much louder. That was really annoying. This was going up. And then on day 3, 4, as I said before, my pulse was going up, and I was a little bit scared. What's going on? Did I drink not enough water? Is there a problem with my heart or something like that? So, but as I said, I was just scared because it happened. A friend of mine had heart problems. And on Saturday, I did my cleansing, getting rid of all the toxic stuff from my body. So I was taking, I don't know the English word, in German we say Glauber salts. So we use a sulfate, but I use a poor one. Not this one you normally get from your doctor when you check your system. So I take one that's poor without any artificial colorings or sugarings, so the pure one, because it's not so tasty. I take just a lot of them, half liter of water, and then Actually, this time it was 56 minutes because I was looking at my watch when it's working. So it was 56 minutes. And then I had to spend a longer time on the toilet, on the bathroom to get rid of it. Then I did it from the other side, 2 times 2 liters of warm water with olive oil to clean it from the other side. And then it was pretty good. And you get rid of all this toxic stuff. But it's really important. So what I highly recommend when you do fasting is longer than 2-3 days, get rid of the toxic stuff, because all the toxic stuff is coming out and it's in your blood system, and this is not healthy. So you have to get rid of it, especially when you have a headache. It's always a sign to get rid of it. And it happened to me actually last winter when I started my fasting in Sicily. I had no chance to cleanse because I was in an area on this island where there was no pharmacy shop or nothing. So I had to stop it after a few days because my headache was terrible. My pulse went up because my body was full of this toxic stuff in my body floating around in my cardiovascular system. So to break it. So it's very, very important when you fast in a longer time that you really do a cleansing, get rid of this stuff. And after I did in the morning, I started Saturday 8 a.m. and I was finished at around 1 p.m. or something like that. It was a 5-hour process, more or less, in the bathroom. Then a long hot shower and scrubbing my body, and afterwards I was really oiling my body, just taking care of my body. And then I feel much lighter and really good. The headache was gone immediately. My ringing in the ear is still there because I have it 24/7, but it didn't annoy me anymore. And I feel much lighter and much better. This was Saturday, and on Sunday I went to a spa, to a steam bath, to sweat, because your skin is your largest detoxing organ. So I went to a spa in the sauna, in the steam bath. It was really nice, and really rubbing myself. And they had a spa. They give you salt, so you rub your whole body with salt, and you clean your whole body with salt, and then you sweat. It was really nice. So on the way back, actually a friend of mine, he borrowed me his motorbike. So I was riding my motorbike to the spa and driving back. I really feel cool, really, really, really good. What I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest, is because what I experienced from my previous fast is that after day 4 or 5, after the cleansing, I have much more energy, and this time absolutely not. So I don't feel more energy. To be honest, I feel less energy. I feel not 100%. So actually, I work a lot on my new projects, and I cannot focus so long when I sit in front of a screen. That's what I find out. I have no problem with my workouts. As I said, I do it slower and less weight. But I'm not so focused on my work. That's that's the reason why I made a day off today. So I decided maybe I do it not that strong, meaning just water and tea, so not bring another liquid in. This is meaning a bone broth. So I actually today I went to the butcher's and I bought a lot of bones, and I cooked them a few hours, and a lot of salt inside of it. So maybe I didn't make. Maybe my electrolyte intake was not high enough, so I have put a lot of salt in, and I will drink this bone broth additionally on a day to get a different taste, something warm and more electrolytes in my body. That's what I will do for the next days too. But I still stay liquid. Yeah, staying away from food. And to be honest, I don't miss it at all. And what's funny, that's what I wanted to tell you. That's right. And I was on day 3 or 4. I'm sitting I'm here in a co-working space. I was working. And then I said, "Oh, it would be nice to have a lunch." And I stood up from my desk, and I said, "Oh, idiot, you're fasting." It's not because I was hungry, because I was used to get up, and prepare lunch. I said, "What the heck I'm doing here? What the heck are you doing here, Roland? You're not fast." I said, "Okay, it's cool." But to be honest, I don't feel any hunger. Not at all. Not at all.
That's amazing. Amazing. So the other question I have for you is, how, if at all, is it impacting your social life? Because people invite you to come and do things that usually involves food or drink or something. So are you just keeping to yourself?
A good question. Actually, last weekend I met a guy here, a Thai guy. He's been living there for 14 years in Austria. Very nice person, Sangha. And he invited me for Thai food because his wife moved out with the kids and he's by himself alone, and he loves to cook Thai. And so I said, "Hey, he wants to invite me because it's boring to eat alone." I said, "Thanks a lot for your invite, but I don't take any food intake." He said, what do you take? I said, "Liquid." So I got, he was preparing a chicken soup, so I was only drinking the soup, so without the meat and the veggies. The only thing it was Saturday evening after the cleans, and I don't know if you experienced Thai food. This stuff is spicy, my friend. This stuff is spicy. So actually, to be honest, it was not very clever for myself, because when you do a cleansing, you get rid of all your microbes in your body, all your what do you say, bioorganic flora, and then you put in a spicy soup. It was burning like hell, to be honest, but it was okay. So to answer your question, I just had the soup there. I was drinking water, just tap water. He had some beers. Today, a friend of mine visited me. She was here for almost 4 hours with a long conversation, and I had a herbal tea. So no issues. No, absolutely not. No, I stay with my water, my tea. When somebody's eating, I just have the soup, only the liquid. I'm fine. No. And
Excellent.
I have no problems when somebody is eating it in front of myself, or even eating a pizza or a cake or a steak. No, absolutely not. No.
And how are you finding your emotions are? And I'll give you an example, and maybe it starts to level out after you've been doing it for a while. But I know sometimes when I'm fasting, at some point I start to feel like a little shaky, and then also my nerves are a little on edge, so I might be jumpy and snap at someone. Are you snapping at anybody?
No, not really. But to be honest, as I said on the first day, I was very hungry. When I'm hungry, I'm not a good companion. Let's get out of my way when I'm hungry. I'm not in a good mood, and I know this. So I was just working in a co-working space, and I isolated myself in the motorhome. I know it because I feel a little bit grumpy because I'm hungry. And as I said, on day 2 and 3 with the headache and stuff like that, of course, you go through a little bit emotional roller coaster, but this time it was not so bad like the other times. It was much better. So what this time is different. Maybe it's because of my age. I don't know. I had less headache, so I was less suffering from from not getting alcohol or sick. I'm not smoking, but coffee and sugar, stuff like that. I'm not suffering from that, but I have less energy than the other fasting periods. That's what But of course, emotionally, yesterday I was a little bit pissed off. A very good friend of mine called me yesterday at 10 p.m. I was all sleeping and said, "Roland, I looked at some of your pictures. You look shit." I said, "What? You look shit?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm fasting. I'm fasting, and I'm not photoshopping my pictures." So this was a little bit annoying, but I'm okay.
You know what's interesting about that comment, because you might know Justin Rigliani. We did a show together last night, and we were talking about how people go out of their way to insult you. So here it is, 10 o'clock at night, you're sleeping, and someone specifically calls up to insult you. So how do you feel about that?
Well, it's a coach. She's a very good friend of mine. She's over 20 years, and said, "Roland, we're good friends. So I tell you what I feel and what I think." I said, "Yeah, it's okay. Tell me." I said, "You look shit." I said, "Hey, honey, I know, I'm fasting. I know. It's all good. I'm fasting. Yeah. I look at it, of course. And because I don't know. It's on when I'm losing weight. Firstly, you see it here in the face. Yeah.
Right. That's always the first there, and then the neck. That's the first places to go. So the fact that your friend, coach, mentor called you up and told you that you looked like that, did that have any bearing? I guess not, on your continuing this journey.
Well, actually, I could sleep in the night, but to be honest, the next morning I went to my bathroom looking in the mirror. Fuck, I really look shit. Yeah, she's right. She's right. Yeah, of course, it's not a compliment when somebody look. When for me, it's very important to look good, and to stay healthy and in a good shape. And then somebody tells you look like shit, and you're just in an emotional, a little bit challenging time of fasting. Yeah, but it's okay for me. I'm not annoyed with her. It's absolutely okay. But she said in a good meaning, because she was worrying a little bit that I don't feel good and I get sick during my fasting. She was just worrying and give me feedback for it. It's okay for me. Absolutely.
Fabulous. Okay, so what do you expect? Because you've done this fasting before. What was the longest you went? Was it 40 days?
No, no, no. I never came to 40 days, to be honest. My longest was always 28 days.
28 days.
Yeah,
Okay. So by the 28th day, if all goes well and you're feeling well, and now you're going to break the fast, what will your ideal meal look like?
The break the fast. I will have a soup, and I actually my idea is not going back to carbs, but sometimes after fast, when I break my fast, I have a soup with cooking a little bit rice. That's really good for my stomach. Uh, Sometimes I just got immediately to a steak. But maybe people say no, never do this, but I have no issues with that. But I have no idea. But I guess I will break my fast with a soup. So, most people do it with an apple with some fruit. That's never I did. I just normally go with a soup, or sometimes I go immediately back to a steak. But what I wouldn't recommend is, I had it once. I had a little bit problem with my stomach. And once I break a fast, I had a pizza for the fast break. It was not a good idea, to be honest. And I know no pizza and no fried stuff. No, but anyway, I try to avoid fried stuff as much as possible. But I guess I would go for a soup with maybe some rice inside. Yeah, a chicken soup with some rice inside would be my fast break, and then the next day I go back to my steaks.
Okay, makes sense. So having a big, heavy meal after fasting for a long time is not a good idea. Is that right?
Normally, yes, but I have no problem with my digestive system. But normally, it's not a good way to have a meal. So I know a pizza and fried stuff is not good, but I can just, I'm a carnivore, and I have blood pressure. My blood is zero positive, so I'm a meat eater. So I have no problem to digest a ribeye steak or something like that. But I wouldn't recommend it to normal people with a fast break, not go back to a large steak. If you're not used to fasting, I would absolutely recommend it. So most people start with an apple, and what they do with the apple is really biting in the chew and really chewing it until you have a chew. Really long chewing. Don't get big bites. Don't swallow big bites. That's not good. So even when I go back to a steak, I really chew it totally. Yeah. So I don't have big bites that I swallow. But so most people go back to an apple and they really chew it very slowly. They're celebrating. I always say celebrating an apple. And if you have a problem with chewing raw stuff, I would recommend a chicken soup or a light soup with cooked with boiled rice inside. That's a good way to break it fast.
And then how long until you start to cruise into eating what you used to eat? Is it a week? Is it a day? You're going to break the fast with the soup, but then when do you get to eat the other food and slowly bring it back into your diet?
Well, I go back very fast, as I said. I go very, very fast back to my carnivore diet because I'm used to it. But for normal people, I said the longer you fast, the longer should be your transition process. So when you want to do a 28-day water fast or liquid fast, I would do at least 2 or 3 days of rice soup and maybe chewing an apple or stuff like that, slowly. And what I also do, because I repeat my cleansing every week. So I repeat it every week. So you have to build up your flora, your microbes flora again. So you can buy some stuff in the pharmacy shop to get natural, naturally we call it it's a company's name. We call it biotics. To get all these different bacteria that you need to digest your food. Because when you do a cleansing like myself every week, you wash them all out. You wash them absolutely all out. So you have to get back them, and we have some natural products that I'm swallowing to bring back my normal bacteria in my digestion system. So I do this back. So I eat this parallel. So I highly recommend, when you do a lot of cleansing, get these products to build up your bacteria environment in your stomach. You need them, because otherwise you get really digestion issues. Yeah, absolutely. But again, I'm very experienced in fasting, so for me it's no I have no issues to go back to steak immediately. But again, I don't recommend it at all to people who to do it for the first time or something like that. Not at all, because you can really get a cramp. You can really get high cramps in your stomach, and it's not fun. So do it slowly, take your time, enjoy the food, chew as long as possible, don't swallow bites. As I said, maybe a light chicken soup or something like that with rice, or chewing an apple for a long time, stuff like that. Maybe when you do a 28-day fast, I would do it for at least 2 days or maybe 3 days, building up your bacteria environment. Maybe you buy some products to support this, especially when you do a lot of cleansing, and take it slowly. But to be honest, from my own experience, I don't have I'm not really have a craving to go back, ice cream or stuff like that, or I'm not alcohol, not at all. What I'm looking forward is to have a cup of coffee, of course. That's what I'm very looking forward to, that, having a cup of coffee. But I'm not have a craving for sweets or stuff like that. Not at all. No, not at all.
Fantastic. Well, your journey is really amazing, and thank you for sharing it with us here. We've come to the end of this particular episode. So who would be someone you'd love to hear from during the rest of these 28 days, and how can you help people?
Okay. First of all, no people want to fast because I'm not fasting. And as I said, I'm not a therapist or a medical advisor or something like that. So people who want to approach me is, as I always say, you don't have to have a challenge or an issue to approach me. If you want to just connect, it's all about sharing and caring. So my main areas, I have a 30 years experience in coaching, consulting, training international companies worldwide. That's what I do. Sales training, management training, different area, process optimization, digitalization, stuff like that. So from a business context. And as you mentioned, Dr. JACALYN, in the beginning of the introduction, I do men's work. And I'm very into health, but as I said, I'm not a medical advisor. I just talk about my own experience to inspire other people, what I'm doing on a daily basis and what is possible without any large efforts. And my new project is Wireless Life Rocks, where I consult people or coach people or support people on a period of a year who want to have the same, as I say, crazy lifestyle like myself, meaning being a digital nomad, because I'm working and traveling since many years. So people who want to combine work and travel in whatever form, like myself at the moment, traveling around Europe in a motorhome and working from a motorhome, or like I did before, flying around the globe and living in hotels or Airbnbs. So this is my main part at the moment. And I'm bringing something new out. Maybe I can tell you more in a few weeks.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again for being here. We'll be coming right back with the Mallorca connection. So thank you to everyone who's watching on the live or the replay or listening on a podcast. We are thrilled to have you. All right, we're saying goodbye for now. We'll be back shortly. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for listening. And don't forget, USA Global TV Radio is the place to watch. Yeah, don't waste your time with any other.
Thank you, Roland. Bye for now.